Hi, this is MVM here. I wanted to address some things about my fan game called Five Nights at Rome's Lookout. And you gotta give me extra credit for this video because I made a rant sona just for this. So I've had this idea of making this game back in I think 2014 or 2015. It was when I was in the first year of middle school. You're probably asking me, why are you not saying 6th or 7th grade? Well, because I live in Italy, as some could have guessed, and we have another kind of school system. I mean, it's basically the same, but we have other ways of calling it, calling the years. Like we simply call it first year of middle school instead of 6th grade, for example. But anyway, that's another story. So development began when I had this idea of making a fan game for myself. I started to get into Five Nights at Freddy's. It still is one of my favorite video game series of all time. I actually got to buy the entirety of the series during a Steam sale, and I'm very proud to say that I have every single game in my Steam library. So that's how you see a true dedicated fan. Now, this game, when I first made the first demo, was absolute dog shit. As you could have guessed. It had no original sprites. It had a big stretched photo of 1 second, let me check the location. Anyways, the game basically had this big window where I just put a big stretched low resolution photograph of a place in Rome during nighttime. The walls were made of stretched. I'm gonna speak with Click Team Fusion technical language. It was made with big stretched active objects of. They were simply gray squares. There were three things you could have done actually. There were the cameras, the power reset tablet, the big green button that would have closed the door behind you, and of course there's the animatronic. The animatronic was a recolored, I mean not even recolored, it was an edited version of the puppet sprite from FNAF 2, and it was absolute dog shit, of course. So the demo itself is really, really bad. I won't recommend playing it, but if you want to, I'll leave a link in the description because the page is hidden from Game Jolt right now. So that was the first demo. Of course, I've decided to get a 3D modeling program because, you know, was much better. So I got Cinema 4D inspired by Five Nights at Tabbyland, which also used Cinema 4D. And compared to other 3D modeling programs like Blender, I liked Cinema 4D much more. Drinking some water. So I started fucking up with Cinema 4D, and I wanted to create a character, of course, and I just didn't know what to do. So I created this thing. This thing is called Paul. Paul was supposed to be the remade character for the Rome's Lookout, which is actually called Ferguson's Lookout. And of course, in the first demo, the animatronic was, Ferguson. But somehow, for some reason, I decided not to model Ferguson and to model other animatronics. So here we have Paul, spelled P-O-U-L. I don't know why. We have Jem, which was supposed to be a waiter. We have Tina the butterfly, which was supposed to be a toilet entertainer. Then there's Franz, which was like a carbon copy of the marionette, but in a, more raccoonish way. So all of these animatronics work differently. Actually, no. Actually, Paul and Jem were kind of the same. No, actually not. Actually, Paul had a random chance of appearing in random cameras, while Jem had a fixed way of getting to your office. And every time he would walk, he would make this terrifying laugh. But both would appear on the door behind you. So I don't have a script for this, so I'm gonna be so bad. So then there's Franz, which you have to loop an audio, and there's Tina, which every time you heard her laugh, you would have had to flush her toilet, which somehow calmed her down. Then there was Silver Pole, which appeared from night 3 onwards, and looking at him would make him appear in the office, and then if you looked at him too much, of course it would fucking crash the game. I wonder where I took inspiration from that. But anyway, so that was the beta. I called it the beta because fuck it, let's call it the beta. And the models themselves were, of course, absolute dog shit. The office was bland, it was grey, with, of course, the car, the freaking stretched photograph that was supposed to be the window. There was a table, but overall, I don't think it was too bad. I mean, of course it is horrible looking, and I mean, it's hideous. Since it was bad, like really bad, I decided, let's make another version of it. So I started over again, since I absolutely disliked that version. So I started over again. The office was again remade. This time I also used lighting for the first time. So I remade the models. I've actually made finally the model of Ferguson, which is supposed to be the main fucking animatronic in the game. I remade Ferguson. I made a torn apart version of him, like a withered version. I made Tina, which is like just a pink female version of Ferguson. I made Purple Ferguson, which was of course inspired from the purple guy, which was like a bad, devastatingly violent and vile version of Ferguson. Then there was Golden Ferguson, which was the replacement for Franz from the previous version, which you had to loop an audio to make him stay inside. Unfortunately, I do not have any gameplay from the demo that I made for this game, because I lost the files from it. But I did not lose the files from the game. I just lost the MFA, which is the Clicked Infusion project file. So this is what it looked like. We have the office, we have some cameras, actually there was another mechanic, which was a back room, which was kinda inspired from Five Nights at Warriors 2, I'm saying which a lot of times, and that there was this back room where you had to hide and not make a sound. But in this version of Five Nights at Rome's Lookout, you just had this back room where you close a door and you just avoid anything that enters the room. Of course, not Tina, and not the Golden Ferguson, and not the Purple Ferguson. For the Purple Ferguson, you actually had to put on a mask, like from FNAF 2. There was a power recharge tablet taken directly from the beta, and there was a flashlight to enlighten the hallway to the right side of your office. So that was basically it. You could change floors, and it had many stolen sounds from other fan games, as I can recall. That's it for that game. Then I decided, the models actually look like I don't fucking know, like first gen Bionicles. So I decided, hey, let's remake the models once again. So I taken a pause, like I taken some time to think about Five Nights at Rome's Lookout. In the meantime, I had started developing, of course, a remade version of a game, which was my first fan game. It was called 5 Easy Nights. I won't talk about that game right now, because nobody cares. So after that, I decided to remake once and for all Five Nights at Rome's Lookout. We won't talk about One Night at Violetta's, because that's another game, even though that's the same saga. But anyway, so I decided to once again make Five Nights at Rome's Lookout something. So the models this time actually looked somewhat decent. It's this guy. Then there's Tina. There's the old Ferguson. There's the purple Ferguson right here. So the game was basically just a remake of the first demo, with the power recharge tablet, the back door with the big green button and the cameras, the flush button for Tina, and another mechanic for the purple Ferguson, which was supposed to be a locker where you could hide. Now, I didn't really like, of course, how it all went, but I can remember that I have made an Easter egg Undertale-like battle where you could fight the purple Ferguson, and I absolutely replayed that for like 5 million times, because I really liked how it all went out. So unfortunately, I don't have either any gameplay of that, because it's all lost in the entirety of all of my MFA projects. I had like 20 gigabytes of projects I have made during my career time. So once again, I disliked how it all went out, and I decided to remake One Night at Violetta's. I mean, not remake it, just revamp it, because it was like the only game I succeeded in making. So I remade the Violetta model, all of this in 2016, and I fixed up some bugs and the coding. Then I've taken my time to again think about my things, my thing for myself, because I was still going to middle school, and I had to study and, you know, private stuff. But after 3 or 4 years of not doing shit about this game, I decided, since a friend of mine was also into FNAF, and she got me again into it, I decided, hey, let's actually finish off One Night at Violetta's. Let's see how to actually make a great lightning, how to actually render things correctly in Cinema 4D. So I downloaded the latest version. I got into it, and I learned how to correctly fix up the lightning, and I did it. I really fixed it up, and I really like how it all works. You can actually download it on GameJolt if you want to, of course. And I decided to finish off this fucking Five Nights at Rome's Lookout game here in 2020. So I will finish off this game in 2020, And if I don't, I'm gonna break this fucking glass on my head and fucking die. So I will finish off this game in 2020. I'm still working on the graphics. When I finish off the entirety of the graphics, I will work on more of the coding. But I can assure you, I will finish off this game in 2020. I won't promise anything, but I will do it. I swear. I said I won't promise anything. Fuck my life. So that's it. That's the history of the game. It may look confusing. It sure is, because I can't narrate anything if I don't have a script. So you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on YouTube, Instagram. I'll leave all the links in the description. On GameJolt, follow the game, of course. That's the most important thing right now. And yeah, that's it. Ciao a tutti.